Hey there, welcome to the 4 to 5. I'm Ben Briscoe with Eric Chilton and Tahisha Moyes. We are here to tell you the news, but also to connect with you. You can use our hashtag 4 to 5 to stay connected, and make sure to comment on our Facebook and YouTube live streams. Let's start with your 4 to 5 roundup. Folks with appointments at the DMV on East Market Street, well, they hit a bump in the road, as you often do with the DMV. It is temporarily closed until further notice. The agency says an employee at the office is being tested for coronavirus. That office was shut down out of precaution.
Their safety is priority. That's why as soon as we hear, or if we even hear that a customer may have had a positive test or something, and we work with the local health departments constantly.
The DMV says if that test comes back negative, that office will reopen as soon as possible. But if the test comes back positive, the office will remain closed for deep cleaning. They say that you should probably make appointments at other Triad DMV offices just in case. A state senator has tested positive for coronavirus, according to Senate Leader Phil Berger. The lawmaker has not been identified, but we do know they took 2 tests before getting a positive result. First, the senator took a test before returning to Raleigh. That one came back negative. Then he took a second test yesterday to double check before his wife went into surgery. Senator Phil Berger says the senator with the virus is at home and doing fine. That's not all making news today. Bennett College's fall semester will be all online. According to a news release, research led school leaders to make that decision. The school's senior leadership team and board of directors found coronavirus had a large impact on Black women. The school says they were also concerned about faculty and staff in high-risk groups. At the end of the day, they decided, hey, health and safety of students, faculty, and staff, that's got to come first. 2 World Health Organization experts are investigating how coronavirus started. They are meeting with Chinese officials in Beijing this weekend to set the terms of their investigation. Scientists believe the virus originated in bats that was transmitted through another animal before making its way to people. They originally thought that it was a fresh food market in China that sparked the outbreak, but discovery of earlier cases suggests otherwise now. China insisted that the World Health Organization lead the investigation, but that they wait until the pandemic was under control to make it less disruptive. Jim Gaffigan's The Pale Tourist Tour has been postponed. The Greensboro leg of the comedian's tour was originally scheduled for August 17th, now scheduled for August 16th next year at the Greensboro Coliseum. Your tickets will still be honored for next year's act. If you want a refund, you can visit the Greensboro Coliseum website.
2 annual events in Winston-Salem are not happening this year. The 2020 Gear and Guitars Music Festival and the Winston-Salem Cycling Classic are canceled. Organizers had hoped to reschedule those events for October, but officials say current coronavirus trends don't make that possible. Next year's event dates have not been announced just yet, but refunds will be issued to anyone who purchased tickets or registered.
All right, let's look at our forecast and current temperatures. This kind of tells a story, and you're saying, well, how, Chilton? Here's what it does. 90 degrees here, 93 in Charlotte, 93 in Raleigh, 91 in Danville, even that far north. So we are hot out there. And anytime we see temperatures like that in the summertime, there usually is a chance of a pop-up late day shower or thunderstorm. So know that we're going to see some of that. We're already seeing it, actually. 70 will be the overnight low tonight. Otherwise, storms will taper off, mostly cloudy as we head into the night. Tomorrow, close to 90. We'll go with 89, a mix of sun and clouds. And again, an isolated late day storm. Here's what the radar looks like right now. Most of what we're seeing is in the mountain and foothill communities. A little bit, though, in Davidson County and southern parts of Forsyth County. You can see it's moving around the Arcadia area. So from Winston-Salem all the way down to Arcadia, and I would say probably welcome to seeing a few showers as well. You may see that isolated thunderstorm or two. A wider picture here just shows you exactly what we see every summer afternoon, pop-up showers and storms. We're going to hover in the upper 80s and lower 90s. We'll take a look at our 7-day coming up.
We hear about coronavirus cases becoming severe and about those who have recovered. Well, our sister station in Austin, Texas, spoke to doctors who say anyone who's in the hospital because of the virus could be dealing with complications for a lifetime.
COVID-19 has many survivors, and that could be the reason some downplay the risks of contracting it. But while most people recover, some could be dealing with long-term lingering health struggles.
There's an entire syndrome called post-intensive care syndrome that can affect your cognitive ability, your mental health, and your physical ability after you're discharged from the hospital.
Dr. Natasha Kathuria is an emergency medicine physician working in multiple ERs in Austin. She said it's still very early to tell what exactly are the long-term impacts of COVID-19 for someone, but here's some of what she sees.
Even patients who return to normal pulmonary function after they're discharged, a lot of them complain with difficulty with breathing for months after.
But for those who needed more intensive care or had to be put on a ventilator, could see longer lasting impacts.
Your chronic heart complications and arrhythmias, your heart failure, weakness, and cognitive difficulty thinking and focusing. Those are more for the critically ill, not for the majority of these patients that are not going to the ICU.
Blood clots and strokes are other rare concerns.
And so we're trying to mitigate that risk by putting some of these patients on blood thinners. But long term, these patients can have some cognitive impacts before they fully recover, even for a long time.
And Dr. Karen Johnson, an associate professor with UT's nursing school, said even for those in their 20s or 30s that develop complications, there could be a price.
In terms of the rates of uninsured in this age population, what are we going to be doing as a society through our policy levers to ensure that younger people can get the resources they need?
Well, scientists around the globe are working, of course, on a vaccine, and they're doing this at a much faster pace than they normally would. The process actually takes years for a vaccine to receive approval. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen. But here's a look at how that approval process works.
Each vaccine must go through 3 phases before being approved. The first involves 20 to 100 healthy volunteers. Researchers here are looking for some basic things. Does the vaccine work? Is it safe? Are there serious side effects? And does the dosage affect those side effects? The second phase involves several hundred volunteers. Here, researchers are looking for the most common short-term side effects and how the volunteers' immune systems seem to be responding. The third phase requires hundreds or thousands of volunteers. This is where researchers are looking for how people who get the vaccine compare to those who do not. And again, is the vaccine safe, effective, and what are the most common side effects? The only way a vaccine gets approved is if it's safe and effective, and if the benefits outweigh the risks.
If you want to be one of those volunteers helping with the coronavirus vaccine, now is your chance. People in the U.S. can register for human trials of vaccine and antibody therapies. Research begins sometime in the summer and in the fall. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services made the announcement on their website Wednesday, saying this is all part of Operation Warp Speed to get a vaccine really fast. If you're interested, you can go to coronaviruspreventionnetwork.org. Hey, let us know if you would consider participating in the trials on our live stream. We'll be right back.
Governor Cooper said the announcement for schools and if North Carolina will move into phase 3 can be expected sometime next week. But in the meantime, Guilford County school leaders met to form their own plan. Leaders reviewed health data and reopening plans that were laid out by the state. Now, the state has given schools 3 possibilities for the upcoming semester, but each school has to create plans to respond to each scenario. The first plan would include a full return to schools as normal. Next would be a hybrid plan, half online and half in school buildings. And the last option would be entirely online. School leaders say the future may be uncertain, but they know masks and social distancing will be necessary.
We also know a lot of parents are itching to find out what's going to happen. They are commenting about this online. Brian, what are people saying?
Yeah, Ben, a lot of people are definitely chiming in. I mean, hey, it is a big decision. All right, so without any further ado, let's jump to Miss Green. She says, I don't know about everyone else, but I'm not comfortable with my child being used as a guinea pig. There are so many unknowns and the guidelines are ridiculous. I'm sorry for teachers and staff. Now, this next one comes from a bus driver. Ms. Griffin says, I know for a fact that parents send children to school sick. I would not trust a parent to take a temperature. You are putting the drivers and their family in great danger. Lastly, Ms. Harris says, education will not be the same if we go back fully or blended. No teacher has trained to work in such a tense environment. You know, and that's very true, but you know, everybody had to go through that. Even us here at the station, you know, we implemented so many different things since COVID-19 hit. I just pray that everything works out in the end for everybody.
Brian, I think that Evelyn is right. Education will not be the same. We are learning new lessons every day, and it's going to have to be a see as you go kind of thing, I think.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I think it's one of those situations where we have to basically kind of just take it one step at a time, because I don't think any of us really has the end all be all answer. Sorry, Tahisha, I jumped you there.
Yeah, and I really feel like these educators and legislators, you know, kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place because no answer is going to please everyone, you know. And then someone brought up to me, they said, well, what happens when a teacher gets sick? School districts already have a hard time finding substitutes on a normal everyday basis. So you add COVID-19 on top of that, and we don't know what the answer will be.
Add to that the shortage of nurses we had last year, and there's a whole lot of unknowns. We will be right back.
Well, you know, we are all about freebies on the 4 to 5, especially me and Tahisha. I found a way for you to shop downtown Greensboro and win prizes at the same time. It is true. I spoke with downtown Greensboro's Stacy Calfo to get the scoop. Stacy, during these times, everybody wants a deal. That's just kind of what it boils down to. But your passport program, this summer passport thing, that's exactly what it will be, right? Plus you win some prizes.
That is exactly right. So we started this program several years ago as an actual passport book, and we have since last year changed it into a digital app program. So that way businesses can add on a little bit later in summer if they needed to, and it just makes it a lot easier for users to take part in the overall program. And we're excited that in 2020 we can offer virtual opportunities for folks to do the passport program as well, because we do have a number of businesses that are still only offering takeout or online shopping or are part of phase 3, which just hasn't happened yet.
So we'll get the app and we go to these businesses and I guess we just do what the app tells us to do, but you can win prizes. What can we win?
Correct. So there's 2 ways that you earn points. One would be actual checking in to each location when you're physically there. It's a geo check-in. Or you can upload this year images of you utilizing something from the business. So let's say you take an online yoga class from Downtown Greensboro Yoga, then you can upload your participation, an image of your participation in that, and that will earn you a point. And you'll also be entered in for an overall grand prize, which will be a huge gift basket of downtown gift certificates, overnight stays, things like that.
Great. Stacy, thanks for telling us about this. We're going to download it today. We'll be ready to rock and roll. And pretty simple too. You just download that app, as we said, take it with you, check in at those locations, and you can win prizes. And some of the prizes of the grand prize are pretty big. So make sure you check it out. I've got all the information on this story on WFMYnews2.com. We have more of the 4 to 5. Stick around.
Hey there, welcome back to News 2 Science Geeks. Today we are going to be making ice cream in a bag Really simple recipe that you can make. So a few things we need. You might have to get some of these the next time you go to the grocery store, but you can use half and half or heavy cream. I like to use the evaporated or condensed milk. I think it makes the ice cream a little more creamy. So we've got a half a cup of that, and we also have a tablespoon of sugar. We've also got some vanilla. We'll use about a 1/4 teaspoon of that, but you don't have to measure it out. You can just eyeball it. And then we've also got about 3 cups of ice, and then about a 1/3 cup of just rock salt or kosher salt, whichever you pick up when you're at the grocery store next. We've also got 2 gallon-size Ziploc bags, and we'll also need a pair of gloves. So the first thing we'll do, and we'll take our milk, and pour that in, and then we'll also take our sugar, dump that in as well. We'll add a 1/4 teaspoon, plus some, if you will, into the bag. And then we're just making vanilla for simplicity terms. And then once you pour that in, make sure you get most of the air out of this bag. We don't want the bag to be bubbling up. And then, if you have these type Ziploc bags, make sure you get them sealed really good. We don't want the ice cream coming out of this bag into the other one. And then we're gonna fold it over and just kind of get all that ice cream mixture down in the bottom there. Fold that over. And we'll set that to the side for just a moment. Then in this next bag, we're gonna take our ice, dump it into the bag. So we'll dump that in. And then we'll also take our rock salt or kosher salt, whichever you use, dump that in as well. And then we'll take our ice cream mixture, and again, make sure it's folded over, and we'll situate that down in the bag of ice. And I'll kind of dig a little hole for it in there. And then same thing with this, make sure you get the ice or the air out of the bag. And then make sure you get the ice kind of evenly distributed throughout the bag. And then we're just gonna shake it around. This is where you'll need the gloves because it is going to get cold. We'll just shake it around a little bit for about 5 to 10 minutes until that ice cream mixture really starts to thicken up or harden up. So once you do that and you notice that the ice cream mixture is starting to get solid and kind of freeze up, we'll open that bag. So the next thing we'll do, of course, you can eat it straight out of the bag if you want, or if you want to get fancy like me, you can get a spoon and you can dip it out. It's not just all fun, right? This is a science segment, so we have to do some science in this. Really, the science has nothing to do with the ice cream itself. It all has to do with the ice and the salt that we use. So when we pour the salt in the ice, it actually lowers the melting point of the ice, much like it does in the winter when we add salt to the roads when it gets snowy or icy. So the same concept works when we make ice cream here. So for the ice to start melting, it has to pull heat away from something. So it pulls the heat away from our ice cream mixture, and the air around the ice cream gets colder, and of course our ice cream starts to freeze. So something you can do pretty quick at home. Enjoy it and stay cool.
Pretty cool fact about the salt, but I'm gonna say it's a lot easier just to go to the store and buy it.
Yeah, but where's the fun in that, Ben?
The
You
fun
get
is
to say
eating it,
you
Tahisha.
made this ice cream.
I knew
I
that
like
you
to
were going
say
to.
I made that.
I knew that he was going to say that. I just felt it in my bones. I'm going to go to the grocery store. That'd be fun to do since I have kids. The kids would love that.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Yeah, we'll do that. All right, let's talk about forecast here. And since Christian's busy making ice cream, I'll take over right now. Here's what's going on. We've got a couple of scattered pop-up showers and thunderstorms happening. You zoom in, a lot of this in the northwestern quarter, let's say, of the viewing area. So from Mount Airy up through Sparta, so Allegheny County, Wilkes County, Surrey, probably parts of Yadkin and Forsyth and northern Davidson, all seeing a chance of a shower or two. Some of those have had lightning strikes embedded in those thunderstorms. Overall, it is more of a western North Carolina thing, but that doesn't mean we won't see anything here. They're just very isolated. So the cold front, you can see, starting to push through the area as we scoot ahead to tomorrow morning. That's at 6 in the morning. It's kind of a weak frontal boundary, so it's not like we expect a great deal of rain from it. It's just kind of ushering in and maybe taking out some cloud cover. It might be slightly drier on the other side of that, but the heat will start to build in. Once that frontal boundary moves by, the air back behind that is hot, and we'll go back to the low 90s. In fact, even in the long run, when you look at our long range forecast, you're talking about temperatures hovering in those upper 80s and low 90s for, honestly, the next 7 days solid. We're locked into a summertime pattern, that's for sure. and not a lot of change going on with that. So let's recap for tonight. Mostly cloudy. If you do see a stray thunderstorm or two, it's not going to be a big deal, but those will taper off gradually as we head into the night. Most of the winds are out of the north, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Our low tonight around 70. That's fairly mild. And then tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds. We do have a 20% chance of a late day shower storm. That is a high of 89 degrees. So southern Piedmont, not a stretch to say that you would see a low 90 here or there. A lot of folks asking about humidity because you know how it is in the summertime. A 90-degree day with high humidity feels a lot worse than 90 degrees with low humidities. Unfortunately, with our wind shifting a little bit, we probably will remain fairly humid over the next several days. And again, it's just not a lot of change for us. We also watch overnight lows too. When you get in the low 70s for overnight lows, that feels pretty muggy out there. So tonight, in fact, look at the lows every day. We're around 70 to 71. That's the entire 7-day forecast. 89 degrees for Saturday. Be thankful for that, because even though that sounds warm, we go to the low 90s and stay there Sunday through Friday. 92 on Sunday. The rain chance is only a 20%. Monday's probably our best chance of getting a late day pop-up shower or storm. That's a 40%. We stay in the low 90s with a 20 to 30% every afternoon and evening, Tuesday through Friday.
And permits from the Graham Police Department are no longer needed for demonstrations, and this march tomorrow will be one of the first since a federal judge ruled that those could have
Test positive for the coronavirus. Hi, mic check 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Mic check.
Hi, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie.
Happy Friday. I'm Ben Briscoe with Eric Chilton and Tahisha Moyes. This is 4 to 5, the interactive newscast where we want to hear from you about the news of the day on Facebook and our YouTube live stream. Happening tomorrow in Alamance County is something we want to hear your thoughts on. Demonstrators plan a march from Burlington to Graham for racial equality. They are calling for a Confederate statue to come down. WFMY News 2's Grace Holland says this comes after a court ruling against the protest in Graham.
Ben, permits from the Graham Police Department are no longer needed to demonstrate, and this march tomorrow is going to be one of the first that's held here since a federal judge put a hold on those permits. Now, Graham Police say there have been a few demonstrations here in the courthouse square since that went into effect. No arrests were made. Organizers are calling tomorrow's march a march for justice. It includes several Alamance County organizations and will end at the square. Leading that march will be Reverend Greg Drumright, a Burlington native who has been part of the protests around the country in recent weeks.
This is my obligation. This is where I was educated. This is where I was raised. And these issues that were there then are still very present there now.
Drumright says organizers are working with law enforcement in both cities. He says they've also gotten permission from the Department of Transportation, that's the North Carolina Department of Transportation, to march in the roadways they maintain. Social distancing and mask wearing will be encouraged. And the march's route actually follows a path of a significant moment in Alamance County history. I'll tell you more about that coming up at 6.
And Winston-Salem police charged 15 people for blocking the roadway during a protest on Thursday night. Police department officials say that officers were monitoring the protest happening at Forsyth County Sheriff's Department. That's when Lieutenant Hart reminded protesters to stay on the sidewalk and not block the streets. Now, police say around 11 p.m. protesters started walking in small groups right on the roadway. Police asked protesters to get back on the sidewalk, according to investigators, just as a safety precaution, but some did not listen. Remaining protesters dispersed. No one was injured. Now, 15 were arrested, giving a written promise to appear in court and a court date.
All right, let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup right now. Fresh Express is recalling some of their salad products as a safety precaution. The CDC says bags of their salad made at an Illinois plant are linked to cyclospora. Nearly 200 people have gotten sick, mainly in the Midwest. Walmart, Aldi, and Giant Eagle posted recall information on their website. The bags affected are marked with the letter Z at the beginning of the product code. They were sold between June 6th and June 26th to multiple states, including here in North Carolina. Authorities are now searching for the body of Glee actress Naya Rivera. Rivera has been missing since Wednesday. New security video shows Rivera pulling up to a California boat dock. You see she and her son get out of the boat and head out into the water. Now, there are only 2 on board, and her son was found asleep in the boat floating in the water. Her son told police he and his mother went swimming, but she did not get back into the boat. And Carolina Panthers fans, it may be your lucky day. There's a new Panthers scratch-off ticket with a $200,000 prize, or you could win a VIP NFL experience. The $5 scratch-off went on sale this week, and it gives you that chance. First, second chance drawing is August 5th, and that will give you the opportunity to win a trip to the 2021 NFL Draft. The 2 other drawings include season tickets for home seasons and 2021 season and membership in the 53 Club.
Today marks 1 week since NASCAR's Jimmie Johnson tested positive for coronavirus. He is already cleared to race this weekend after testing negative twice now. WFMY News 2's Amanda Ferguson caught up with Johnson to hear his thoughts.
It's interesting Jimmie Johnson's able to return to NASCAR less than a week after he tested positive for the coronavirus, but he said he's taken all the protocols he needs to, and those protocols include you can't have any symptoms and you have to take 2 tests, and each test has to be taken 24 hours apart, and then those tests have to come back negative. Then you're good to go. If you remember, Johnson was asymptomatic. He only got tested because his wife tested positive. This morning, I talked with him and he says he and his wife feel fine, but he says it's been an emotional week, making sure his family's safe. Johnson says he's excited to get back on the track and making a comeback so fast.
I've followed the protocol. It brings a lot of questions as to where I was in the journey of being positive and all of that. So there's a lot of speculation there. I don't know those answers, and believe me, I'm the most frustrated person out there, especially living in a world of facts that I do. To not have the facts drives me bananas. But I have followed protocol, and I've been reinstated.
Johnson set to race this Sunday at Kentucky Speedway. He's never won at that track before, but he says he's going into this positive, even though it's a tough course.
Well, a Tennessee woman is begging everyone to do their part and wear a face mask. Our sister station in Tennessee spoke with Emily Smart, who said even doing that did not protect her family entirely.
It really gets in your head. You start questioning everything that you've done.
Emily Smart is stuck at home in Oak Ridge.
That's Tiger.
Even though her whole family took all the precautions, last week they tested positive for COVID-19.
My father and myself, my husband, and my son. I can't even tell you how cautious we were.
Smart says they felt fine when they found out their father and Clinton tested positive June 29th. The next day they got tested, and they came back positive July 1st.
If we didn't realize that he had tested positive, we wouldn't have tested for probably several more days because our symptoms were very, very mild, and we would have been going about our lives. No one has had a fever over 99, including my father, who's 70.
Smart says her 12-year-old son practically has no symptoms. But within a few days, the adults are down and out.
It's miserable. You don't want this. I'd rather have the flu. This is worse. There are times when I can't even hardly move. Fatigue, major head congestion. I lost my sense of taste and smell. I hurt all over. My head hurts.
Smart says what stands out is knowing how long she was contagious before she felt sick.
The thing that I would urge people to understand is that you won't know you have it until you've already exposed other people. I keep thinking about everybody I saw at the gas station. I went to the grocery store to pick up groceries. All those people, what if someone dies because of my, not knowing and being out there?
As bad as she feels physically. Smart says she'd feel a lot worse had she not been diligently wearing a mask.
The mask does not stop you from getting it. It limits how much germ goes out into the world. I wore a mask. I took all precautions, but the guilt is still very real.
After months of focusing on her own actions, not making it her business what others do in grocery stores or anywhere else, Smart says she now takes it very personal when people don't wear masks in public, especially knowing how cautious her family was.
I get pretty upset about it, especially now. I truly believe if everyone had been wearing a mask, we wouldn't have it. People not taking this mask thing seriously. Honestly, I think it's very selfish because if I'm wrong, I'd rather be wrong and save lives than be wrong and risk lives. We just urge people to think about their family, their friends, their neighbors, the people they care about. If you're not going to wear a mask because of your own freedoms, will you wear a mask for them? This is not a joke. People are dying. This is very real.
Well, that certainly makes you think about it. That is for sure. All right, let's think about our forecast for the weekend. And we've got a lot of the same stuff. Tomorrow's temperature is the coolest of the week, and even that is close to 90 degrees. That's where we are right now. Take a look at the readings outside, 90 in the Triad. Let's head south to Columbia, one of the hottest places, it seems like always, 93. Same story for Charlotte, by the way. Cooler coastside with that sea breeze, Wilmington 87, Myrtle Beach 86, Fayetteville at 90 tonight. Overnight lows will go down to 70. We'll see the storms taper off what we do have out there right now. And mostly cloudy. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds with a slight late day shower chance. Here's what the radar looks like now with most of the activity back toward the mountain communities and the western half of our viewing area. Northern Davidson County with a thunderstorm and also some moving through Surrey and Wilkes County as well. Overall, when you look at our long range, it's simple, folks, between 89 and 92 every day, and every day that 20 to 30% chance of a late day shower or storm.
August 1st. Okay, not really a date that most of us have in mind for anything special, right?
I mean, first of the month, bills due, right?
Yeah, those are all true. Yeah, that is true. You've got something there. Bills are due, and maybe bills that you haven't had to pay in a while.
Ooh.
The governor allowed folks to defer these bills. Do you remember that? Your gas, your water, your electricity, and they allowed them to not be shut off, right? That all ends August 1st.
Uh-oh.
The ability to defer for 4 months. We're seeing shortfalls in the amount of money that's coming in, even though the people are continuing to use the utilities. That ultimately If these utility systems that are owned by these cities, if they're not solvent, that means you could end up with an increase in utility rates and or an increase in property tax rates. And that's the last thing that people who are on fixed income or lower income individuals need at this point in time.
At least one North Carolina city is already looking at raising their rates for the people who are paying their bills by 10 to 46% because of the people who are not paying their bills. Again, August 1st right now is the day that utility companies can start billing you and then beginning the process of shutoffs. If you haven't called your company yet and worked out a payment plan, you need to do that. All right, with that kind of news, you're going to need a reason to smile, right, people? 30 minutes of the good stuff, the stories that bring joy to you and help alleviate the stress. It's coming up at 5:30. Won't you join me and Ben Briscoe?
Check 1, 2, 3, 4. Mic check 4 to 5. Mic check.
Okay, so after Brian talks, Ben is going to say something, and then it's me, and then it's Ben again, and then Eric? Okay, because that was just slightly different than what you just said. But got it. If you thought your phone was broken this morning, you are not alone. Multiple apps such as Spotify, Waze, Pinterest, and Tinder kept crashing on iPhones because of Facebook. Many complain that their Spotify app would crash on iOS when it opened, and Android users did not have any issues. And Spotify worked fine on their computers. So the issue apparently is related to Facebook's iOS software developer kit, which is embedded directly into apps. Now, the company said that the issue was resolved around 9 o'clock this morning. And Brian, you know, when anything social media related crashes, the interwebs go crazy. How are people handling it online?
Oh, you said it, Tahisha. They're going crazy, okay? And they're losing it completely, okay? But some of these posts were really funny on Twitter. So without any further ado, let's check them out, all right? This one comes from Amy. She says, at Spotify, you have made my train ride unbearable. Anyone else? All right. This next one comes from, I guess this is Mads. Let's go back to Mads real quick. She says, after updating, uninstalling, reinstalling, rebooting my phone, only to realize Spotify ain't working for anyone. And then this one comes from Miss Glenn Wright. She says, me about to delete Spotify, thinking it's broken, then checking Twitter and finding out it's down for everyone. Didn't realize I was emotionally attached to Spotify. That's how it works sometimes. This one comes from PS5 there. And Eric, I thought about this one. Let's bring up the vinyl picture. I thought about Eric Chilton about this one because it says hashtag Spotify down, listening to vinyl. So it really didn't bother Eric here. And I'm pretty sure it didn't bother Eric Chilton as well because I'm pretty sure he has some vinyl. Lastly, this guy says live footage of me listening to Spotify on desktop while everyone else's apps fail. So clearly he wasn't having any problems at all.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised. Actually, for once, I wasn't listening to Spotify this morning, and so I didn't even realize that anything had happened. But I love that photo that showed Jay Versace. That's the guy's name. He's the guy that was crying with the tears in his eyes, because that's how I would have felt, too, if I tried to listen to my podcast in the morning and I couldn't.
I love that people have all these photos saved up in their phone for moments like this, because that's the world we live in, so dependent on technology. You're going to have those moments where you want to cry at some point.
Yeah, I think, well, and first of all, let me clarify here. Brian said that I wouldn't bother me because I have vinyl. Oh, I have lots of my vinyl from back in the day. I just don't have anything to play it on. So I am just as handicapped as everybody else when Spotify went down.
Well, we will be right back as long as our TV app keeps working. See you then.
Hi there, 1, 2, 3. We need to get Chilton a record player. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Or how about 8-track?
Okay, folks, it is Friday, that means we're ready to turn up the party. I am taking over the airwaves, lock management in their offices, because here we go. My photographer, Manning Franks, decided to edit together a few snippets from all the interviews that I've been doing along with him since we've been working remotely. So he put it all together, but here's what he did. He decided to put them to a beat. So here it is, the 4 to 5 wrap. What can we expect? The same old good stuff, or you got some new tricks for us?
3, 2, 1.
Express yourself.
Art.
I think you have a gift.
Art. The basic skills of art.
Express yourself.
Art.
I think you have a gift.
Art.
Express yourself.
Art.
Oh, great.
Great minds think alike, you know? Great minds.
Yeah, most certainly.
So there's that.
I don't know. Go. This is the cover guy. Go. That's it.
Really hard work.
Just fiddling around.
I don't know, but it sounds lovely.
Chomping at the bit.
We got the mask on here.
Ta-da!
Hug and touch on Zoom. Success.
And just to say thank you. Right. Help people here.
Wash your hands and get those extra Z's.
That's really the only reason I'm here.
But that's just my 2 cents, because I don't have a lot to say anymore.
A round of applause, please, for Manning Franks. He did such a good job with that. Cracking me up, by the way, when he told me about this yesterday. He just played a little bit of it, and I was dying laughing. So I had to ask everybody on Facebook. I said, name the 2 WFMY News 2 folks that you would most like to see rap, and more importantly, what would their rap names be? This was killing me today when I read these. Gaitlin Spooner said Ed Matthews would be the Edmeister, and Megan Malaris, Mega Bomb. Love it. Linda Ferris said Julie Luck as Lucky J and Tim Buckley as King Buck. That's perfect. Jerome says Maddie would be Mad G. Not bad. MD Moore says High Pressure B. That would be meteorologist Tim Buckley, he says. Mary Kay England says Eric is the Chill Out, and Taran Kirksey would be the T-Ran, which I call him T-Ran, as a matter of fact. And then Bobby Pickard said, I would love to see Tracy McCain rap. She would be called Lady Trey. Not too bad. I will tell you, Tracy and I have a running joke, because when she was a little kid and she would put on performances for her parents and stuff, she said she had like different DJ names for her, and they were so funny. You'll have to ask her about that, but they're hilarious.
I vote Chilton for the
I'm
win.
just offended that no one gave me a name.
Oh, let's think of
one. We got to come up with one.
Yeah, I'm offended. No one gave me a name, and I have one if you'd like to hear it.
Yeah,
it's The Noise with Moise, and I actually cooked something up for you. I cooked something up for you. You ready? Here we go. It's time with Noise with Moise, and I gotta say no to all the boys, but I got a ring, and it ain't a fling, and I just can't wait to do the thing.
Quarantine has been going on too long. You got too much time on your hand there.
Ooh, that's nice.
My roommate is screaming at me. No, it was bad.
It was good. You did great.
Now we know what she was doing between noon and about 3 p.m. All right, here we go. Let's take a look at our 7-day forecast. I want to show you what's happening with that. Hey, a couple of scattered showers. We do see those out there, and just an isolated thunderstorm or two. It's hard to recover after that, I'm going to be honest. They're isolated, not widespread, but you could see those mostly in southern Forsyth, northern Davidson, and then into our mountain and foothill community, so be advised of that. Otherwise, here's our 7-day, 89 tomorrow. Rain chances are down for the weekend. It'll be hot, though, 89 and 92 for Saturday, Sunday. The afternoon and evening pop-up summer rainstorm that we always see, only 20%, so not a great chance for the weekend. Monday's the best shot at a 40%, but we're up to 91. And then we hover between 90 and 91 for the rest of the work week next week. And again, only a 20 or 30% chance of a shower or storm.
Lady J here now. Coming up on WFMY News 2 at 5 o'clock, a DMV office in Greensboro closes temporarily. They don't want to take any chances as they wait for a worker's coronavirus test results to come back in. We break down what comes next at 5 o'clock.
Hello, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie. You do know that we have a tight shot on 5 with just my hands, right? Okay.
Hi there, 1, 2, 3, Lucky J in the house, in the hizzy, 1, 2.
I messed up my rap. I was so nervous. My heart was beating so.
Hey there, Tasha's been watching Hamilton nonstop, so she's just gonna rap her life now. It's gonna be great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Can we talk for a minute, just you and me, just close, just us girls? I won't tell anybody. Be honest, when you have a video conference, whether it's Zoom or WebEx or whatever, do you have what's called now a Zoom shirt? That's a thing. You can Google Zoom shirt now. Because some people may be working from home with a t-shirt and ratty shorts and flip-flops, and they're working away and they go, oh, Zoom meeting, let's get the Zoom shirt. Or, I forget that. Some shirt that you keep close by in case you have to quickly get on there with your boss. You won't tell us what you're wearing from the waist down, will you? And do you stand up in a Zoom meeting? No. I do a lot of feature stories, so wearing a golf shirt works for me. I'm not going to tell you what I'm wearing from the waist down. It's shorts, almost every day. But, full transparency here. Zoom shirt is a thing that you can actually Google. In fact, some manufacturers are making it a thing. So Urban Outfitters have ads that say, shirts to keep you video call ready. Neiman Marcus says, quote, pics when you're only in the mood to dress from the waist up. That's what the ad says. And then here's my all-time favorite. LaFleur, the clothing company, proposed what they call mullet dressing. Business on top, party on the bottom. Zoom shirt on, my friends. It's the time we live in. But this is my Zoom shirt, and I'm not changing. That's just my 2 cents, and that's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts right now.
A Greensboro DMV office is closed as an employee waits for their results of a coronavirus test.
We want to be clear here. There is not a confirmed coronavirus case at that DMV location, just a possible one. WFMY News 2's Adoria Chumba talked with the DMV about why they closed that office before the results came back.
DMV officials say they put this precautionary protocol in place in March, and since then they've closed NCDMV offices about a dozen times while they await test results from a suspected coronavirus case. Now they say they do this in order to limit exposure.
We got a report that one of the employees is undergoing a COVID test, either was going to do it late yesterday or this morning. So as soon as we hear about that, we close down the office for precaution's sake, so for the safety of customers and for the staff.
And officials say the DMV at 2527 East Market Street will stay closed until the results come in to protect staff and customers.
What if this person, if the test comes out positive, and we've been letting customers in there? That makes us know that's not very good on our part as how we treat our customers.
If the result is positive, the Guilford County Health Department will take over investigations and contact tracing.
Our responsibility then is